All right, I'd like to bring the Upper Moreland Township Community Development Committee meeting for September 16th, 2024 to order. For the Development Committee meeting, we have Commissioner Scull, Commissioner Mullen, Sean Kilkenny from Kilkenny Law, Dave Alseer from our Highway Department, and who am I missing? Gilmore, right?
The man from Gilmore.
Okay. Paul Patel.
In the township meeting.
I guess you weren't here the last one. Paul Patel.
Out of practice.
So, next, we'll have a moment of silent meditation, please. Okay, if you would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we have our call to order. Any announcements?
There are no announcements this evening.
Did roll call? Any presentations?
There are no presentations this evening.
Okay. Public comment, non-agenda item only from the public. Anybody? No, okay. Approval of the minutes. You okay with minutes?
Yes,
Move on?
I'm good.
Okay. Any public comments on last month's minutes? No, or for July, actually. Okay, we're done there. Let's go right into land development. A subdivision application for property located at 2005 Pioneer Road. Whoever's presenting this, would you come up, give your name.
Good evening. I'm Ed Chatterer with Eastern Chatterer Associates. I have the owner with me tonight for 2000 Pioneer, Benjamin Krippa. We have several letters from the review consultants that we plan on complying with. The Gilmore letter, we pretty much have a pretty clean letter on that, except for the landscaping items, which we need to work out a little further with the landscape architect. Let's see here. Oh, I left it over there. Yeah, I'll just give an overview on it. It's for a 4-lot subdivision located at 2005 Pioneer Road. We don't need any zoning variances. We're going to have public water and sewer. There's existing curb at the site now. There's several waivers that we're going to be asking for. One of them to not require, it will be section 315B, B2, streets to not require widening of Pioneer Road to a 20-foot half width. Pioneer Road is already curbed and has sufficient cartway width. The second waiver would be section 318A1, sidewalks. Partial waiver to not require sidewalks along the entire property frontage of Pioneer Road. Sidewalks will be installed from the existing sidewalk to the north to the proposed common driveway only. Further than that, we have a considerable embankment and sidewalks in that area would not be feasible. Waiver 3 would be section 300-52C1. Drafting standards do not require to show all existing features within 400 feet of the property. We believe that all features that are sufficient to the property are shown. The fourth waiver would be section 300-55, plan processing procedure to permit the plan to be approved as a preliminary final plan instead of the separate preliminary approval and then final plan approval. Since we have most of the items already taken care of, we would like to see that go through. And the last one would be section 330-43's planning requirements. Partial waiver from strict interpretation of the planning requirements The strict interpretation of the township landscape ordinance is not practical or feasible based on the existing vegetation, wooden privacy fences, and proximity to the PA Turnpike. Partial waivers will be requested as deemed appropriate by the township landscape consultant and our landscape architect. Your landscape architect was on vacation last week, and we have not had time to review this well.
Okay. Real quickly, before I get into some of this, Paul, do you have any problems, questions, or anything with this? As it stands now, as far as your end of it?
All the, we have no issues with it. It's compliant with the zoning ordinance, but they are requesting waivers of the saldo, and that's for consideration by the board.
Good. Jim, do you have anything that blares out at you that you're worried about or anything with the waivers?
No, I don't think so, but I do believe that in order for this board to recommend something to move forward, we would need to understand the relief that you're requesting from the planting sections.
Yeah, the planting sections are particular to the, we're trying to retain the existing vegetation and supplement it. And along the turnpike, we have a 20-foot high slope, which is going to be above the houses. And there really isn't a room or need to buffer along that area.
Okay, so the buffer, in the letter, there's comments on the softening buffer. And
Correct.
The plantings maybe not meeting the sort of rate of the ordinance. Along the existing development to the north, are you meeting those requirements? And then it's just along the turnpike that you're not providing the softening?
Yes.
Okay. And then I saw a section requiring the replacement trees. You're asking for a waiver from providing all the replacement trees? Is that?
Well, because we're retaining most of the trees on the site.
Okay. Generally, when this board waives the replacement tree requirement, it's accompanied by a fee in lieu contribution. Is that something that you guys would be willing to talk about?
Yes, that'd be fine, if we can't replace the trees.
Okay. Yeah, you could go a fee in lieu route, or you could also offer them for planting on somewhere else within the township.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're okay with that, then I think that we
Okay.
would be all right.
Okay, now, any other questions from up here yet?
Come on, those first three things, one, the sidewalks.
Okay.
We don't like to not have sidewalks.
Yeah, have you been to the site and seen the embankment?
No. I just know it's
It's,
always a point with us.
yeah, I mean, the embankment's 10 feet high. So from the curb line, it pretty much goes straight up slope.
So Nick, there is sidewalk along Pioneer on the development to the north of this site, and they would be extending the sidewalk along their frontage to a common driveway. So the residents of the new dwellings that'll be constructed would be able to get out to Pioneer and utilize their newly constructed sidewalk. What they're asking for the waiver is to not extend that sidewalk to the south of their property, but there is the abutment for the railroad?
The turnpike. Yeah, it would pretty much dead end into
It's
the
very
turnpike.
narrow and you can't get under there anyways.
Yeah, they can't go in that direction because we dump them right into the street because there's no sidewalk under the turnpike.
Gotcha.
That,
My
but-
other concern is about traffic there. I almost got clobbered on Library Road by people coming out of that tunnel, angry for being in line for 20 minutes to get out and speeding up the road. I was pulling out of the medical complex there, and somebody almost clobbered me. I looked up the right, oh, nothing's coming, and before. in the
Yeah,
time-
I've
I looked
been
back,
there.
and I
Yep.
understand what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yep.
So how does not widening or widening the road affect that?
There is sufficient sight line per PennDOT standards along that road. because it might be more of an enforcement issue than people speeding.
So, really, there's no way to widen the road because of the, let's make the tunnel bigger, right?
Well, not under the tunnel, but I don't think widening would really help anything.
For the sightline, you have to move one pole or something?
We propose a light pole at the end of our driveway, so that has to be relocated.
Okay. I just saw something of that
Yeah.
in here, in that site plan.
Yeah.
Demond, do you have anything specific?
I'm good.
All right, stormwater. You have two locations, one against the back fence of the neighbors for Butternut, and then one on Lot 4, which is down by the turnpike.
Yeah, the system runs parallel to the proposed driveway coming up,
Okay,
and then it tees and makes a 90, which is more in the site towards the turnpike, yeah.
okay.
It's basically one system, but it's all interconnected.
The only problem that I see arising with that is, not right now, but we have run into it at Reininger Track. We ran into Butternut on the other side of that tree line. People, when they buy that property it's not recorded that a lot of times they see it when you sell the house the second time or whatever, and then they find out there's an easement, they can't plant something on it, they can't do anything. Down the road, there can be problems, and then it falls back on us. That's my only, not a deal breaker, I'm just saying it publicly because if people don't know that they have the easement on their property and everything's below it, you can't put a tree on it and stuff. So I just warn people when this happens, you're putting all the water on one person's property, it's all going there. And you're saying you're going to make, this will be an HOA
Yes,
to take care of everything.
yes, that's the most feasible way to do it, really.
The only question that I have, and this is to Sean, what happens if the people don't contribute money to the HOA when they need to fix the driveway, or let's say the water, because the first three don't have the problem, it's only 4. What happens if they bankrupt the HOA or something? Do we still have the rights, or is it possible that goes away and then we're stuck?
So I don't know if my experience with this is HOAs frequently do dissipate through time, right? Yep. In those features. Now, there is often a reservation of rights where the township could come in. We often don't want to. We want to strongly encourage the HOA to fix their own problems. But in extreme circumstances, I have seen townships do it, although I do not recommend that. Hopefully, it's a thriving HOA where they continue to pay dues and do their maintenance. I don't know, Paul, if you had something to add, or?
Well, the stormwater M&O agreement will be recorded against each property.
All 4?
Yes.
Okay.
So that would give us the right, yeah.
So we could lien them if something.
Yeah.
If there's an issue, then I have to notify all 4
Yeah.
property owners, but I get your point.
Okay.
If 2 of them
Don't put in.
don't, and
Yeah.
they're all responsible.
Okay, I wanted to make sure we had something to cover that.
Yep.
Since it's kind of happened before. Those are my main questions. Before I say more, is there anybody, well, the only other thing I'll throw in there, I'm not willing to vote total on this for full board, move it forward. But until the tree stuff and all that, you'll work that out with Jim before October meeting, so that's going to be the yes or no then. But you just got to work everything out with Jim and Paul.
Yeah.
That's not finished.
Unfortunately, he was on vacation and.
Yeah, but as long as that's done before then, I'm okay. I'm okay with the sidewalk for once, only because you're going to dump somebody right into the street. So you're going to go from your driveway up to Butternut, though?
Yes.
Okay, so we're connecting to the neighborhood that way. And there is no sidewalks from there.
Yeah, I mean, on the other side of the turnpike, there isn't any residents down there anyway.
No, and there's, yeah, life's in danger there. So they can go the other way to either park, or the parks. Those were the 2 issues that mainly the trees and that stuff have to be decided, finished, before I would vote yes on it. But Anybody in the audience that wants to speak on this? Oh, Dave.
Yeah, I have a question. So when you're pulling off of Pioneer, then it's one road, then 4 driveways? Like one drive and
Yeah,
then it
you have
splits
one
out?
private driveway, then the houses branch off.
Now, is this, Paul, since it's an HOA, are they going to have private waste collection? Or are we going to collect the trash and recycling?
We would,
Because we're going,
we would pick up the trash, but they have to bring it at their can.
yeah, all 4 homes would have to
They'd
bring it
have
out
to
to
bring it out to
Pioneer Road.
That would make most sense.
Okay,
Yep.
that's fine. And we wouldn't not be plowing that main
No,
private drive?
that's responsibility of the
Okay.
HOA.
Okay, any questions from the public on this? All right, with that, let's run right down the waivers, and I'll see if I can, well, there's only a few, so I'll,
Yeah, we had a September 12th letter. I don't know if you got a hold of that.
might have gone through it.
I can give you a copy.
But it doesn't clarify, the only thing I'm worried about now is the tree stuff. And that's a matter of you guys working it out before, what's our October meeting? October 7th meeting, when you come in. As long as you guys agree to something, he knows what we want, that's fine. But I just want to, let me run down the waivers and, oops, let me get back up here.
need that information by October 2nd.
You give them the date, I don't, whenever you want it. Okay? October
What about
2nd.
the traffic impact?
That-
5 new trips?
Yeah, that will all be in the resolution prepared by the Township Solicitor's Office.
Okay,
They're not fighting that.
okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Okay, so from this board, we are okay with not widening the road because it would be one house out of a quarter of a mile. Let me see, sidewalks, only the sidewalk we're willing to waive is from their private drive-in to the Turnpike Bridge. And drafting standard, 400 feet property for drafting, we're okay with that. Plan procedures, plan approved, preliminary and final, as long as it's done by the October 2nd deadline. Otherwise, it'll get pushed another month. Planning requirements, you just have to have that done by October 2nd.
Yep.
So other than that, the three of us are okay to move this to full board for a vote? Yeah. Sure. Okay. You all right with that?
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
Good.
Thank
Thank you. Next, a lot consolidation application for property located at 4325 Shoemaker.
Evening.
Hello.
How are you?
I guess your name and what the real purpose that you're here for.
I'm Matt Witters with Eustis Engineering, here with the homeowner, Jim Bugafuri, 4325 Shoemaker Road is the application address. And we had submitted an application for a 2-lot consolidation. We're going to consolidate 2 lots into one. Lots currently, Jim owns both. He actually owns the 3 lots in that general area. Would like to consolidate the 2 lots that front on Shoemaker Road for the purpose of building an accessory garage. He doesn't have a garage right now. And the garage is going to end up in the general area of where there's an existing gravel pad there and would service the existing single-family home. No other changes to the site are proposed at this time. And really, this is just for the application on the consolidation. As I explained to the solicitor earlier today, we kind of put the cart before the horse. We submitted a grading permit application prior to consolidation with the realization that we may have to come in for consolidation because that property line basically bisects where that garage is going to go. That property line we're going to extinguish where it's going to end up. So we have been in for grading permit. We have received kind of a clean health, bill of health on that grading permit application. We don't anticipate any stormwater management being required because we fall underneath the township's threshold of 1,000 square feet of new impervious cover. So I think we have all that in line. So again, followed up with this consolidation application, and we are requesting a few waivers as part of the application.
Okay. And going through it now, the two waivers are, wait a minute, I'm trying to get there.
There's actually 6.
There's 6.
Yes.
Okay, I just saw them. Okay, it's the same, the first waiver is the same as we had with the last one. The whole street, all the way down is the width it is now. You're not going to widen it for just, this would be 2 houses out of a quarter of a mile or so. So that is the first waiver. Sidewalks along all streets excepting, by the opinion of the board, we'll go back to that. Street trees shall be planted 1 foot to 8 feet outside right of way, no closer. You already have some trees there, correct?
We do, yes. They're outside of that 8-foot section, or
Okay.
that 8-foot measurement. We're planning to retain the trees as they are.
Okay,
Actually, I plan on planting more trees.
okay. Let me see, preliminary final, that's, we're okay. Within 400 feet, okay, within 400 feet of any part of the land being subdivided, the plan shall show locations, names, and everything steep wetlands. I don't think we have anything to worry about here. And then the last one would be plan to show the location, the character of the building on the existing buildings.
That one, we're asking for a waiver from having to show the species and the size of the existing trees that are going to remain in place.
Do we know how many trees that you have to add due to this for the location? Or you,
The number of existing trees would cover what's required for street trees.
okay. Okay, with all this, again, I'll ask Paul. Paul, is there anything jumps out on you? I'm going to leave the sidewalk one alone for now, but anything else in here that you're not comfortable with?
Again, it complies with zoning. They're proposing consolidating, 2 lots to bring it into compliance with the zoning ordinance. Brief history on this, the applicant had come in, wanted to put an accessory building, a detached accessory building. Unfortunately, part of that, it was going to go across one of the property lines. So I recommended he either go to zoning hearing board or he combine the 2 lots. So they opted to combine the 2 lots.
In doing this, we also erase a problem that one of the lots is non-conforming because it's only 50-foot frontage, correct?
Correct.
So now you make it 1 lot that's that long, it takes away their non-conformity,
That's correct.
okay? Which is a good thing, to make it a conforming lot. Jim, anything that you see jumps out at you?
No objection. We would review the grading permit for the detached garage as a grading permit, and I've already seen that, and as Matt alluded to, I don't have any issues with that.
Okay. Anything, Dave? Okay. Okay, any questions from up here?
No.
Any questions from the public? All right, the only one that I have is the sidewalks, and I'll refer to Cheryl. We have no sidewalks on that side of the street the entire way, do we?
I think there's sidewalks between Jason and the shopping center.
But there are no sidewalks on Shoemaker on that part.
Okay,
None at all.
so they come down to where the houses start.
They come down to
Yeah, if you
Jason
wanna-
Drive.
There you go, that way I can look at it a little easier. Okay, Shoemaker coming down.
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
I don't know.
Right.
Only up there from Jason.
We normally take an in lieu of for sidewalks.
That's Jason. On the other side is the bridge.
You better come up here, so, sorry. I didn't prep you on this. Usually I let the person know.
Thank you. Yeah, so I recognize it is kind of a wide area, but with the shopping center and the park, I think it's a really important place to have a sidewalk, to try to get sidewalks as we can.
Okay. That's why I wanted to ask you, it's your word. So,
But, question, are you asking for sidewalk for the whole stretch or just for their plot of land?
well, it's the whole stretch now because it's one piece.
It would be, they would be required to install it
Just for
along
their
their
lot?
frontage.
So you would just have a sidewalk only on their lot and no sidewalks on the other side of it?
Correct.
That's correct, yeah.
For now, but
We did,
Otherwise,
you see, we did that on Sycamore. Now it's fully lined the whole way. We've done it 2 or 3 properties that have sold and had reasons to come in, and we have put sidewalks on some of the streets. That's why we can make them do it for now, or if they want to have the waiver, give us a reasonable amount of money and a sidewalk fund, and that's the question. Because yes, there are none yet to there.
I would point out that the 2 lots that are to the north of us, so going back towards the shopping center, are 25,000 square foot lots, so they're barely over the minimum lot requirement there, so there's no way they could really develop those in any way, shape, or form than how they're developed now. Maybe a building addition here or there. And I'm not sure where the township, where that trigger for a new sidewalk comes into play, if it would be for a building permit or something along those lines, but it is something I wanted to throw
we
out
may
there.
decide to build them in the future.
I'm sorry?
We might decide to build them in the future. because,
Absolutely.
you
Yeah,
know,
we just connected again, with them on, we just paid for Warminster Road. We added 800 feet or whatever, I don't know whatever it was, to connect a sidewalk across a couple properties and stuff. But we did that through a grant. So that's the only reason we would start them. So these people can go to the, a few hundred yards up or whatever, go to the shopping center without walking in the street, which is a narrow street anyway. I wouldn't doubt if it's 30 foot, 25, 30 foot. But that's up to us, Paul.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm just looking at the pictures they submitted this evening. It looks like they do have some utility poles
There are some poles
fairly
and
close to the curb. So the installation of sidewalks could alter where the sidewalks go.
there's also a pretty significant embankment
Right.
there as well, right along where the road had to be cut down in when they put that road in. So I'd have some concerns with the utility poles and maybe even some of the trees if they were close enough to where that sidewalk would end up. Because when we did review the code requirements, I believe the sidewalk has to be within a foot of the right-of-way, but it's on the road side of the right-of-way, if I'm not mistaken.
I said, I'd rather waive that like everybody else and have 3 feet of grass instead of 1 foot. The 1 foot's ridiculous, as I look at it. But that's going to be something for the rest of the board to decide on the vote that night. But any public comment other than what we've had? Okay, so, yeah.
Hi, Sue Worthleman, Ward 6. This is an historical property. Do I have it right? I'm trying to catch up to myself today. I apologize.
Say it again?
Is this an historical property built in 1800, this property? It is. Okay, so I have identified it correctly. Yeah, it's 1800.
It's the original farmhouse, yes.
Yes, it is. Okay, so we just have a vested interest in listening to, what owners would want to do, the Historical Commission itself.
Want to build like a garage that looks like a barn, so make it look like it's supposed to.
Part of that original property, or at least reflective of the.
There used to be a barn there.
Yes,
A long-
yeah.
100
There
years
did.
ago, yes.
I wasn't here, but I know of it. So I was not my childhood, just pointing that out. But I saw kids going from the field up past your home, and they were on bikes, and they could have certainly, they didn't have lights on. I wanted to stop them and frankly take them somewhere, but it was dark, and tell them that I would buy them a light for their bike. But they go up there after games or after just playing themselves, and I would heartily recommend that if we can, we get sidewalks, because no, I know you're not allowed to ride your bike on sidewalks. I know the rules. But on the other hand, they would have been safe, because they go up to the shopping center, they get snacks, they do what they want to do, and they run back, and there's no protection along there. It's 25 miles an hour, and you know how I feel about that. So I'm going like 17, but they're boys. They're weaving in and out, doing what boys do. And once they got off the sidewalk, you know, it was not a safe thing for them. So just saying that, I would appreciate if you would consider that. And I just wanted to ask, this property does not have a business running from it, does it? No. It does not. Okay. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Would you consider putting the house on our historic inventory? Consider putting your house on a historic inventory.
Sure.
Township has an inventory of, okay.
I think it's actually on it, I think.
No, it actually isn't. I go by it. No, but I'd be happy to talk with you about that. Thank you. I'll get in touch.
That'd be great.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yep. Okay. Again, it seems like I'm probably the only one that is the sidewalk person.
I
Maybe.
don't mind putting sidewalks in. Can I do it when everybody else does it?
Well, that's why I don't know if we can.
Contiguous?
I don't know if we can enforce that at that time.
We can, I don't know, Paul, we can put a note on the plan if they would agree to it, basically saying that at the township's pleasure or timing, we could make them install sidewalks, and we could do something like that, I would think.
We could. That might be better than having them put an escrow in, because
Yeah.
an escrow today,
Not home, but I've done it in other places.
right.
So basically, it's like when we're in zoning, it's the 25% in reserve or whatever. We're going to put a sidewalk in reserve.
I mean, if they're agreeable to
It's essentially a
Would-
deferral.
would-
Deferral, right.
Yeah.
It would be on the plan, so we can
Yeah.
enforce it in the future.
Yeah.
Against-
And it's at,
or anybody
Be
else.
recorded against the
Recorded
property.
against the property.
and it's at our discretion.
Right. At your
So,
discretion.
same as a reserve parking.
Hopefully you guys get a grant.
Yeah. But,
So when we do the sidewalks, I would have to take about 10 trees down.
yeah.
Just, you know,
We've done it before, but
so then.
only for a necessary need at one spot, but, okay, all right, thanks. Anything else that, is everybody okay with? Okay, so you are, I guess you're not under oath, we don't really do that, but you will sign an agreement that if we get other sidewalks, you would put it in to connect to them at our request. Okay, all right. Jar, I see that scouring look. Okay, are we okay to move this forward?
I'm good, yeah.
Okay, we'll move it forward. The vote's what it is in October, so, okay?
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next, new request from Walmart for holiday seasonal trailers. Just so everybody knows, we get this, good. Someone new. So, you're from Walmart?
Yes.
And your name?
Lauren, I'm the store manager.
Okay.
Hi.
And your name?
Lauren DeGrush.
Lauren, how you doing? This is something you do every year. The board usually approves this all the time, as long as, I think one year you had to move a couple, I'm going back some time, but because of the fire marshal, they weren't facing in the right direction or something like that. So as long as it's okay with the fire marshal, this will get voted on. Does anybody have any questions on this?
No, I'm good.
Never do for every every year.
annual.
We
you, guys.
we want you to stay in business and sell stuff, so.
It's less trailers, so you guys know, so it won't be that much as last year and the year before.
This is true, no construction?
Yeah, no.
Okay. Anybody else have a question on this?
No.
One comment, I would just, there will be a resolution on this, or?
What have we done in the past?
We did a resolution because it is an exception to the code, and I would just recommend that you add in there, trailers placed at the, on approval by the fire marshal.
Okay. So we'll see if we can take out the previous resolution.
Yeah, if not, yeah, I can find it.
Okay, anybody else? Nothing? It'll get voted on then October 7th, I think.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so
Okay?
much.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Good. Next, a draft ordinance for regulations on smoke shops. I've had several discussions with Paul. Paul and Sean in his office has brought this forward to us. I think we're going to have a problem, not that we don't already, so many smoke shops, and it's just, I'm looking out for the kids in our town of a lot of these things, and the younger people that are going through these. And as things get moved forward by the state for, let's say, pot and THC and all that stuff, it seems like a lot of stuff's getting approved. I think we want some control on it. So Sean, you came up with this. Is this the same as somebody else, or pretty much just reconfigured it to our township?
It is. We've done this in several other townships. I can name a couple: West Norton, of course, West Township in Montgomery County, Haverford Township, I know, so off the top of my head.
Okay.
Very similar ordinance.
Are there any questions from commissioners?
No, I kind of read through it. I don't think it'll make much difference. They have to be 1,000 feet apart.
Well, we have two of them now.
Exactly.
Yeah, within 1,000 feet of each other.
I guess if one closed.
So, and it's just, and I guess we can't, we got to go by the normal flashing lights and everything else that's in all the rest of our code.
Yes.
So, okay.
And,
So we can't add
obviously in the current smoke shop is grandfathered.
other, yes. Okay. Mind anything?
No, I'm good with it.
I just want to second what you guys are saying. I think this is definitely a step in the right direction for the township, especially for the youth. I mean, we got little kids out there smoking nicotine, vapes, inhaling, chemicals, stuff like that. So I definitely think this is, the right thing to do, and definitely a step in the right direction.
Good, thank you. Cheryl, anybody from the public on any of this? Okay, now.
Let's point to you.
Okay. So Paul and I spoke beforehand. I know we spoke earlier on the agenda call with Pat. And so procedurally, it's a little awkward, right? Because what would happen is in your October meeting, you have, would be on the agenda, a motion to adopt the new zoning ordinance, right? This would be an amendment to that new zoning ordinance, right? So what we'd have to do is adopt the new zoning ordinance first. And then you would have to have a public hearing and then adoption of this ordinance. That could all be done. Paul talked about one caveat that we might have. It needs to be reviewed by the Montgomery County Planning Commission. There's a possibility it could be reviewed. He's going to make a call in that period of time and hopefully have it reviewed by October. But if not, it may have to go on in November, just depending on what it is. Is that correct?
Correct.
It's up to you too. Now, we will have to vote on, so if this was a hearing, it would have to come after the vote on the plan, the full comp plan.
Right.
The full
Or-
ordinance.
Yes.
The full-
After October.
Right, so it wouldn't,
Sequentially, it has to go, this would have to go second.
yes.
So
That's,
you would have you already had the hearing on the zoning ordinance,
Yep.
if you guys remember.
Yep.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Then you have a vote on the ordinance, then you have a public hearing on this, and then a vote on it.
Yes.
Provided it wasn't controversial.
Comment, we'll have to advertise a public hearing?
Yes.
And that has to, it has to occur, whatever the regulations are. So we need to know from the county quickly if they will be able to get this done by October 7th.
Sure.
Okay.
Now we'll do it in November.
And it's been kicked around for a while now. This isn't something new. It's just this board decided to finally take action on it, to get it. And that's why it's not in the prior zoning thing. They did not know that what we were looking at. So when that plant, the new zoning and codes and all that stuff, we've seen that 6 times now in this room over the last 2 years. This was not discussed prior to them for this. This is something new that we're just trying to get in because we even have a couple more applications for new ones now already, and we already have a bunch. So that's why we want to do this in a speedy fashion. So.
And there are 3 of them right now, right?
On Easton Road?
Right, you got 3 on Easton Road alone, yeah, so.
There's one on York Road, there's one at Easton and the Railroad, there's one that applied for, next to the Willow Inn, there's one up at Easton and, where across from Staples, there's another one up on the right, just before you get to Blair Mill, I think there's one, and,
Next to Nina's.
yeah, there's one there.
Then you get one,
Yeah, there's,
car wash.
it's amazing how many there are.
Yeah, really.
So.
I did have one recommended change. I sent it to Alex last week, where as far as requirements, where they can go. There's language in the ordinance that says within cannot be located within 1,000 feet of a residentially zoned property. My recommendation would be residentially zoned property or residential use. So.
The problem there is, what if it's anywhere on Easton Road then? Because the property's behind them, the residents, right?
Well, no, if you could have a non-conforming single-family dwelling or non-conforming apartment complex in one of the permitted zoning districts where these are allowed. But if it's a residential use, then that would apply. I mean, that's up to the board. So rather than have to be 1,000 feet from an R1, R2, R3, or R4 zone.
That's something for our intelligence committee between you and Sean to hammer out.
What do you think?
I'm okay with that, if that's what you recommend.
Okay. That'd be the only change, and that'll come out when we have the actual hearing. So it'll be in there, okay? Anybody else have a problem or question on this? No? Okay. We'll move that forward to when you deem it, we could have the meeting, okay? Between staff.
I'll make the call tomorrow morning.
Okay. Old business. Anybody have anything? No? Nothing for redevelopment. Code enforcement report.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. The committee has my July and August 2023 reports, and a comparison. I've also included the 2024 report. Comparison, I've included 2023 monthly reports. I don't have anything to add to either one of them, so happy to answer any questions the committee may have.
Okay, I have none. Any commissioners?
I have none.
General public. Okay, thank you, Paul. Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. You have my July 2024 and August 2024 Public Works and Sanitation report. The only thing I have to add is if you were looking at the reports for the past few months on the recycling side, we have been getting a small credit from our sorter, which is good, because past year we were paying thousands of dollars a month to get rid of recycling. So now the index is slightly turning around. At least it's not costing us. But besides that, I have nothing further.
All right, the only thing I'm going to ask you, which you don't know I'm going to ask you, need to put people on the spot. We keep talking about a trash truck, and I think this board, is something going in the budget for next year? We've beat it around for 2 years now, or sometimes we can't get them for 2 years. Do we have a plan?
It depends whose plan you want to go by. My plan, I cannot get a Mack truck,
Okay.
and that is the cheapest way to go.
Yep.
Cannot get on the build list for 2025, does not know when, the style truck we want. The big players, Republic, Waste Management, they're gobbling everything up.
We've known that.
Yes.
They've been doing it.
So the truck next viable truck is an auto car. If we order it in January, chassis would be delivered by April. Body would be on in 100 days.
Okay.
So,
But we did not order it yet.
no.
Right, okay, so, but that's our
That's
plan.
the goal.
And
We had one budgeted for 2024, and we also have one budgeted for 2025.
all right, so that's just something that you have to work out in your budget.
We do. The cost for the change in vehicles was a couple $10,000 if I'm,
50,000.
yeah. So we need to take a look at that as we have our budget meetings here coming up with the department heads.
Okay, we keep kicking it down the lane. Something's gonna have to get done.
Because the price of the body since the last time I got a quote has already gone up 4%.
Yeah,
Going up how much?
4%.
so, okay, I just wanted to bring that out, that's just one of them that we keep. We're supposed to be involved in some of our other grant money. If there's any grants or anything you can find that,
Recycling side there is, but
Yeah.
not the waste
you
side.
can't use it for both? No? Sure?
Actually, one of the local townships got in trouble for using a recycling rear load trash truck that they used for yard waste that they got on a grant. They got in trouble because they didn't have a waste sticker on it, and they got questioned. They called the DEP out, and they got fined.